Speaking of C-plus movies, Dylan's pick of the week, that being the 1981 film Raiders of the Lost Ark. Dylan, tell us about it.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is our introduction to the Indiana Jones franchise, where we follow Indiana trying to get treasure, and this bad guy shows up, takes it, and then they're going after the Covenant of the Lost Ark, and then hijinks ensue. Indiana finds out, hey, they're digging in the wrong spot, so they go and find it, they dig it out, they're about to steal it again, they steal it back, and then the thing kills all the Nazis or something, and then America puts it in Area 51.
Fun fact, during filming, the entire crew got food poisoning, except for director Steven Spielberg, who ate nothing but SpaghettiOs he brought with him.
That's silly.
Why do you do that?
He likes SpaghettiOs? He
loves SpaghettiOs, I guess. I don't know. Jackson, I imagine, since you've had the least exposure to the Indiana Jones franchise, what did you think of this film?
Dude, he played Lego Indiana Jones. He's probably the most exposed to this franchise out of any of us.
Yeah, let me give you a reenactment of me and Nico watching this Indiana Jones movie. Oh, I know that scene. It's from Lego Indiana Jones. 10 minutes later. Oh, I know that scene. It's from Lego Indiana Jones. 10 minutes later. Oh, I know that scene. It's from Lego Indiana Jones. Ad nauseum repeatus.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, I don't know shit about Indiana Jones except for what I saw in the 2 Lego Indiana Jones games and what I retained playing them as a child. It's fun. I think it's a fun, silly little time. I think Indy is a fun character. I think he's a silly guy. It definitely feels relatively grounded. There's some sci-fi shit going on at the end, but and the special effects are not great nowadays. But I think it's a fun film. I think it's a fun little adventure film. Honestly, it's one of my the better ones we've seen, I would say. I think it's better than Star Wars, personally.
Oh.
Tanner, do you agree with that?
I disagree. I don't think it's better than Star Wars. And interesting point of disagreement. I found Indy's character in this one something about it didn't really click with me. He didn't feel very defined to me. Especially because, there were a lot of really weird line deliveries from him in this movie. In the bar scene where he's getting in that fight and he says to Marion, he's like, "Can I get a whiskey?" And he says it like that or something. I'm like, what the fuck? Literally, I didn't realize it was him because he said it so fucking weird. And I feel like they don't really pick a direction of what this character is supposed to be in this movie. I don't know. I assume they do develop it later in the movies, but, is he supposed to be a womanizer? It seems no, but also, his backstory suggests yes, but he doesn't really act like one. Is he supposed to be a actual archaeology nerd, or is that a disguise? And it's inconsistent on how smart he is and how good he actually is at archaeology. One thing I wish they did is, I wish he was more of a scoundrel, because I feel like there was a line from the professor guy that he's with that kind of hinted at how they were aware of it's a controversial thing that white people are going into these other cultures and stealing their artifacts, but then that's not really a thing. I kind of wish they leaned into that more, and Indy was just kind of oh, fuck you, if I'm the one who gets to break into this place and risk my life, yeah, I'm gonna fucking take your shit, whatever, I don't care. But I feel like they didn't really pick a lane for Indy's character and stick with it.
I mean, I disagree. He seemed pretty, cemented for the most part, I would say. He did seem to have some rather infectious charisma, one might say. Mm-hmm. On the point of he used to be he seems like he's a woman. Maybe he used to be one, but now he's much more grounded. He's a professor. He's much more real, down to the earth. And as far as his smarts go, I feel like he seemed to be rather knowledgeable about all this shit. His quick thinking for figuring out, oh, I see the snakes are coming through those holes. I'm gonna fucking knock this thing down and get a big old hole for us to crawl through. Stuff like that. I feel like he seems rather smart. Do you really have an instance where he seemed not really know his shit at all?
A specific instance, I guess. I guess it's not so much in those fast-paced moments where he needs to do action, yes, he comes across quite clever. In a lot of the slower moments, especially, I guess, specifically with his interactions with Marion, he seems kind of clueless on, like, what to say to her or how to interact with her, like, interpersonally, not necessarily in, like, the action, like...
That could also just be because he, like, has a history with her, kind of like, it sounds like he kind of just fucking abandoned her, and maybe he feels bad about that, he's got some hang-ups, and it's just kind of awkward between them because of that.
Yeah, he's also a pedophile.
Dude, this was back in the 40s, it's chill.
It's back in the 20s, even.
Holy shit.
I thought it was the 30s.
Dude, who knows when this movie was set?
Yeah.
I saw people say 20s.
Okay.
I don't know.
I feel like he balanced the rugged adventure and intellectual archaeologist thing rather well.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it has to be 30s because World War II hasn't started, but Nazis exist.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I looked it up and it says 1936.
There we go.
Okay.
It's just that easy.
Let's go.
The invasion of Poland has already started?
I guess so, dude. I don't know.
And he's doing nothing to help them?
He's discovering the Covenant of the Lost Ark, dude.
Is that what the next films are about? It's about him, like, stopping World War II?
No. I think he actually explicitly doesn't get involved.
Okay.
Despite the fact that he does fight Nazis in these movies.
Yeah.
And speaking of fighting Nazis, I feel like the action in this film is also really good. All the action sequences from, like, the iconic initial, like, temple escape, that was really awesome. Like, the scene where he's fighting all the Cairo dudes throughout, like, Egypt or whatever the fuck. When he fucking shoots that guy with the big old sword, that was fantastic.
My favorite
The
scene.
truck scene, holy shit, the truck scene, guys, that was cool as hell. He uses his ingenuity. He uses the whip to, like, slide himself across the ground to, like, climb up into the truck. That was sweet as hell.
I agree with most of that. I think some of the hand-to-hand combat looked pretty stilted, especially the bar scene. There's like a specific part in the bar scene where they drop all of the backing music, and then it is like pretty awkward and slow fighting. And I'm like, eh. But yeah, the truck scene, very good. A lot of the like escape and ruin scenes is pretty good. But yeah, I felt like some of the hand-to-hand combat, I was like, you can tell this is an older movie where they didn't have the build-up of, like, fight choreographers and stuff like that yet, I find it funny that he kind of gets sidelined for the last, like, 15 minutes of the film and literally does nothing.
What do you mean? He shows up and points a RPG at the Ark, and he says he's gonna blow it up.
And then he realizes he's not going to do that, and they just tie him up, and then we just watch shit happen, and he doesn't have any impact on it.
It's in God's hands now.
Yeah. Not a complaint, I just think that's a funny aspect of the story.
One thing that I didn't realize about this, I've only seen it like one time, but I didn't realize that, like, the main theme is, like, a motif throughout the entire thing. Like, they are constantly reusing it as, like, oh, it's, like, much lower, like, they're drawing, like, notes out to, like, make it a much more subtle thing here, to make it, ooh, it's, like, a little more spooky, what's going on here, sort of thing, which I thought was pretty neat.
Nico,
yeah.
I'm gonna open the floor to you for a minute or two here. What do you think of Main Girl?
I think she's cute.
This guy is fucking unpredictable. She seems like such your type that you would start telling us she's the hottest woman alive.
No, definitely not. But she's cute.
Maybe this guy's gay. Do you think that guy's...
Dude, I was way more into the girl from Rome Therme.
Okay.
Don't, what'd you think of the film? You haven't said anything about it yet.
I kind of just sit here and listen. I don't really have anything of value to add at this point, so...
Surely you have something to add, though.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked the movie. You guys just get so into the weeds, and I'm not that way about movies, so I can't possibly say anything about this movie that hasn't already been said.
How do you feel about being scared of snakes, Dylan?
Snakes are pretty alright. I think you should be scared of the snakes that can kill you.
Interesting.
Oh, also, I like The Mummy more than this one.
Really?
That's a...
Pretty definitively as well.
This is honestly an absolutely shocking take from you. I was fully because, like, it's a classic film, I was fully expecting you to put it somewhere in the S tiers.
Dude, I don't even do that often.
Well, boys, are we ready to rank this one?
I guess so, dude.
I guess so.
All right, Tanner. How about now, Dylan? Jackson? Me? Huh? Who should kick it off? That's tough to say.
Kermit the Frog here.
Dude, I'll kick it off. Why not? Whoa. I enjoyed this movie a decent bit. I'll give it an A-.
Whoa.
I also gave it an A-.
Whoa.
Dude, I also gave it an A-.
Whoa.
I didn't give it an A-.
Dylan.
I gave it an A+.
Yeah, I didn't really say any, we didn't really talk about negatives a bunch. I am not super sold on the pacing of this movie. It definitely felt like we were wrapping things up before they went into, the second act of their boat being stormed. It definitely started feeling like it slowed down a decent amount there. Some of the action, like Tanner said, definitely felt a little stilted. I think that is just, some fucking 80s hand-to-hand combat scenes. They just haven't really figured out, fight choreography then. Because it did feel pretty awkward and slow. A lot of it was just he throws a fucking punch and that's it, and it's not really that exciting. There are some fun stuff though, like him fucking shooting the guy with a whip. That scene's a romp.
Fun fact, do you know why that scene happened, Jackson?
No.
That was when he had food poisoning and he couldn't do he was supposed to use the whip to take the sword out of the guy's hand, and he kept failing at that because he was so sick, and so he just went, why don't I just shoot the guy? And then it became this fucking iconic moment.
I was about to say, it's a great moment, dude.
It really speaks of his character. He's like, why the fuck would I engage with this guy when I have a gun? I can just shoot him.
Classic Jackson, by the way. When we say, okay, does anyone else have any thoughts on this film? He just stays silent as no one says anything for several seconds. And after we rank the film, he's like, you know what? I guess I do have things to say.
Don't even worry about it, dude.
I just like doing that because I know I won't get fucking interrupted during my little spiel.
True.
We normally don't interrupt you.
I get interrupted all the fucking time when I'm trying to give my spiel. What are you talking about? That's why I do this. You've trained me to be this way.
Everyone gets interrupted all the time, dude.
Anyways, it landed at an A.